Hi, this is Dave McCoy, and you are listening to the Undercurrent podcast by Emerald Water Anglers. Enjoy. Ready?
I'm ready.
Did you get the microphone set where it's supposed to?
Yeah, stop spinning around, man.
It's kind of the fun thing, though, to mess with the tech guy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, God, what episode is this for us? Is this 5, 6?
5.
5?
Yeah.
At least 5 of published ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome to episode 5 of the EWA Undercurrent podcast. Unfortunately, due to pandemic constraints and respect for our elders and friends and people that we love, this podcast was probably the one that we may have a hard time topping.
Yeah.
This one. I just don't know where we go from here.
No, I don't either.
We were supposed to be in West Yellowstone, Montana, snowshoeing into the upper Madison with Craig Matthews and talking to Yvon Chouinard about the 20th anniversary of 1% for the Planet.
Yeah.
But instead, and my feeble digits are not complaining as much as my mind is probably, but Craig said it was pretty cold out there, and so we missed the cold. We kept Omicron to ourselves and did this via Skype or via Zoom. So without further ado, please understand that we are intent on always trying to bring that in the moment and outdoor sort of feel and vibe to our podcasts. And while we could have waited months to do this one and reschedule, hopefully, we wanted to make sure we had this out to coincide with the impending 20th anniversary for 1%, which is coming up here in
this next month.
Next month, yeah. So we're super excited about this one. Enjoy. It's one of our shorter ones probably. And we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.
Talk to you on the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Yvon.
Hi.
Can I start with a couple of quick stories?
Yeah.
So I became one of your favorite words, I believe, Yvon, an ambassador to this unbelievable company that you founded, and was immediately invited to one of the global sales meetings. And I kind of feel as though I'm pretty comfortable around people, but found myself standing next to you out in front of the hotel after one of the morning meetings. And I was probably about as far apart as we are right now from you. And you had your hands in your pockets and you're just kind of standing there. And I didn't even know if you knew who in the hell I was. And you turned and looked at me and said, how's that fly shop coming along? And I don't know if you could smell it or not, but I kind of soiled my pants right on the spot because I was like, oh, holy crap. He knows who I am, much less what I'm doing. Oh my God. So that was one. And the other one that I was so excited to become a part of Patagonia. And much like John said to you, Yvon, I don't want to build up. I don't want this to come across as anything more than what it really is, but I really do admire how and what you've done with the company, and some of the questions I want to ask kind of want to get to some of the foundation of how and why, and what were the impetus was for some of that. But when I came back, after I found out about that and I came back, my daughter was in kindergarten and she knew how excited I was, and she was up front in their kindergarten class with the whole rest of the school, probably 100 kids in the room, and they do show and tell every Friday. And she's like, me. She's like waving both hands in front of the teacher, like just going nuts. And so Whitney's like, okay, calls her name, and I'm leaning in the back of a class with about 15, 20 other parents who'd stick around for show and tell. And she's like, what would you like to share? And she's like, my dad just became the owner of Patagonia this week.
That's great.
All the rest of the parents turn and look at me and are just like, wow, Dave, what the hell are you telling your kid? Oh my God. I'll remember that story till the day I die. But I know you don't have a ton of time. So I want to sort of get to brass tacks while I've got you, Yvon. We're on the eve of 20th anniversary for 1% for the planet. How does that feel?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. It's it took a long time to get it going. I mean, it stayed around, 1,000 members, 1,500 members for years. And then all of a sudden it's just exploded. I just found out they have 5,500 members now.
Wow.
And they have as many in Europe as they have in the States.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's an international thing now, and it's pretty cool. That's saying a lot because, a lot of European countries, you don't have tax write-offs if you give donations. So that just comes right off the top. And, we can write it off our income taxes and stuff, but you can't do that in a lot of countries. And so that's pretty good.
What was the... Okay, so I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. How and when did you and Craig meet?
Ask Craig. I can't remember.
I was sitting in the shop one day. Oh God, I can't tell you. Early 1980s, mid 1980s, tying black foam beetles. And this guy walks in the shop, and I'm the only guy in the shop, and I'm talking on the phone, trying to take a phone order. And this gentleman stands in front of my desk and is watching me tie, and I could tell he was in a hurry for something. And I said, I'll be right with you. And finally, I deal with my phone call, and I hang up, and he goes, where's your Patagonia? How come you don't have Patagonia clothes and waders in here and stuff? And I go, well, we've been trying, but their sales rep, who at that time was Jim Danini, he won't give us Patagonia. He won't give us a line. And the gentleman who turned out to be Yvon says, hey, listen, I own Patagonia. This is a working fly shop. You're tying flies and doing the right thing. You got Patagonia. And that's how we met. And the next day he brought in his son, Fletcher, and they were going fishing, and I was still tying black beetles, and I gave Fletcher a dozen black beetles. And Fletcher thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And then the next day they came back in and said how the beetles worked, and we just became instant buddies.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What?
It was over 20 years ago when we were fishing again, and we were coincidentally fishing black beetles, and we're sitting on the bank of the river. And we had a discussion at that time about, our realization that besides the fact that our businesses were dependent on using public resources for a good living, we're fishing wild public rivers, lakes, and streams. We shared the personal belief that a healthy natural world also is essential for human survival. And for these reasons, both our businesses supported grassroots environmental organizations and businesses. And the unique thing is that we sat there and we talked about this for quite some time because we both anticipated that we'd alienate some of our customers by taking stands on controversial environmental issues. But the real turning point came a year or so later when we found out that our businesses were actually growing because of the stands that we were taking that were pro-environmental. And with that, we decided we were going to do something and found an conservation environmental organization that utilized 1% of our, and this is the kicker, our gross, not net profit hocus pocus, but our gross sales that would go to conservation and environmental causes. And that's how we basically came up with the idea and started 1% for the planet. And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, we were doing 1%. You were doing 2%.
Yeah, we were doing 2.2%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we discovered that we were each giving a percentage, we decided to open it up to the public and create an organization.
Yep. And we thought this thing was going to grow by leaps and bounds. We thought every freaking fly shop in the world. Yvon, tell Dave how many fly fishing businesses are members of 1% for the planet. Dave, take a guess.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Yvon, do you know?
6,000, the 6,000 members, how many are?
Not just fly fishing, but there's 30,000 manufacturers of fishing equipment in America. So forget about, I don't know how many, just manufacturers out of 30,000 fishing manufacturers.
Just the manufacturers or retail and everybody included in that?
Yeah, retail included.
So how many members of that 30,000 are 500?
9.
Are you? Come on.
9. It's embarrassing.
9.
As a member of the fly fishing business community.
That's absolutely appalling.
Take a look at the Fly Fishing Climate Alliance, Fly Fishermen's Climate Alliance.
Yeah.
How many guides and outfitters do we have as members?
Well, how many of them are 1% for the planet members?
None. We have 7 people that are 7 guides and outfitters that are members of that.
I know.
It's embarrassing. It's totally embarrassing.
Wow.
What are we going to do?
So that's a rabbit hole in and of itself to go down.
Yep.
So you brought some, you were doing 2.2%. One of the questions I was going to ask was, how'd you land on 1%? Like, why not 5? I understand because it was gross that 5 is a massive chunk of money to give, and that's probably just not feasible. How'd you come up with 1?
I don't know. I think, Ben and Jerry's was doing 1% for peace. And, 1% of sales is a lot more than 10% of profits in a lot of cases.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's whether you're profitable or not, it's a cost of doing business. So, most of the companies that joined up in the beginning were very small little startup companies. And 1% probably was a lot for them. And so I wanted to, I guess we just thought it was a good number to get nobody.
We're having a little, Yvon, you might remember this. We're sitting in some state club eating dinner in Ventura. It was kind of a dark little corner, and we're sitting there in Sportsman's Club, I think it was, and we're talking about, what percent we were going to try to do. And, the town of West Yellowstone had just initiated a 3% sales tax, resort tax, to provide necessary services. And that's where we came up with 2%. We were trying to work up to 3% to help fund Yellowstone National Park. That's where our donation at that time was going, to the park through the Yellowstone Park Foundation. And you and I were talking, God, how much? And we decided, well, most businesses are doing 3% for advertising. And how are we going to get all these businesses involved? And we settled on 1% because we thought we might be able to crack the nut, and we'll have a lot of new members with 1% of gross sale, rather than use the net profit moniker. So that's kind of how I remember us going with 1%. But who knows? That's been over 20 years ago.
I don't know.
What, and I had a question just a second ago that was totally in line with that. So you do the 1%. Why do we not have more buy-in, if you will, from our community? I'm baffled by that. What's your take on that, you two?
Well, there's companies like Orvis that do a lot of good,
Mm-hmm.
They give a lot of money away, and they didn't want to join. I think initially they just said they wanted to do their own thing. So I don't know what.
That's fair.
I don't know why.
What's amazing to me about Orvis, Yvon, is that they do 5% of their, I think it's their net, I believe. But they don't wear it very prominently on their shirt sleeve.
No. They made a move to last year a little bit, but then it just fell by the wayside.
But I said to him, I was like, I get boxes from you that have, the tape that closes the box says 5%, but it's not on any of your pop merchandise or anything like that. Is it embarrassing that you do that? Like, I'm befuddled by this, I guess. I don't understand why we can't get more buy-in to 1%.
Well, a lot of it is when you donate to environmental causes. I had two petroleum engineers I had no idea they were petroleum engineers, but they used to be great customers. And I wrote a little blip one time in our catalog about climate change, and then I followed up with that piece that was a national TU about climate change. And they both got hold of me, and they said, we're not going to support you anymore because of your stance on climate change. And it just blew me away. And I had a meeting yesterday with a group of guys out of New York, and all of a sudden one of them is going, "You're politicizing climate change." And I'm going, "Well, how am I politicizing?" I said, "It's all about saving trout and saving cold water, and that's what you're in it for." And he didn't want to talk about it anymore. He said, "I can't support that kind of stuff. I don't even want to get into that kind of a conversation with our little club."
So, Yvon, you start 1%. Patagonia was already a very well-established company 20 years ago, right? What did 1% bring to the formation of 1% bring to Patagonia? And then how much did Patagonia change through seeing the eyes through this new sort of arm of Patagonia at the time?
Well, I don't think it increased sales that much or anything. I mean, we didn't do it for those reasons. We didn't do it for marketing reasons.
Did it provide latitude to just be more upfront about what Patagonia stood for because now you had this to talk about, or was there any change there at all?
Well, it took it out of philanthropy and it put it into a cost of doing business.
Okay.
A totally different mindset. If we all just accepted the idea that we're all responsible and we should all be doing something, and not just when we have a little extra money in our pocket.
Hence the being able to sleep at night comment earlier.
Yeah, it changes the way. It changes the way you look at that giving. 1% also has a deal for individuals where they can just take 1% of their income and pledge it to 1%, and or show that they're doing it. So they're members too. So it's on an individual basis too.
How many individuals are doing
that? Slightly different response in that it happened to coincide, our founding 1% happened to coincide with our $3 bridge project. And we just, in its inception with 1%, I'm traveling around to Heart of America Fly Fishers and Kalamazoo Zoo chapter of Trout Unlimited and the West Michigan chapter, beating the drum, trying to raise money, trying to raise $5.6 billion to do the $3 bridge project. And all of a sudden, 1% comes online, and that became a real driver because they said, can you tell us about your 1% initiative? So I explained it to them, and all of a sudden, our business really took off. And that was hard to do after you've been in business for 20 years.
That Blue Ribbon, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Blue Ribbon really started to sail along. And I had movie producers calling me up going, tell me what you're doing, and explain 1%. And they're flying from LA out here to pick up a $17,000 fly fishing order. And I've got people ordering flies like mad who said, I'm never going to come to Yellowstone, but I'm going to buy my flies from you because I really appreciate what you're doing for the environment. And our business really took off. And I'm going, this is far better. Like Yvon alluded to earlier, we didn't look upon 1% as from a business, increase your business point of view. But all of a sudden, our business was really taken off because of that, because people, there wasn't a day that went by somebody came into our shop or called or emailed and said, I have never heard of you guys before, but I'm buying stuff from you because of what you're doing with your 1% initiative. And then Yvon always got a kick out of this. I had one guy call up, and then I had several guys call up going, I'm going to buy all my Patagonia from you because you're doing 2% now. Patagonia's doing 1%. You're doing 1%. That's 2%. It was amazing. It was amazing what was going on.
Look at this. These are some fishermen in Bristol Bay, wild sockeye salmon delivered to your door. Members of 1%. Guess where I'm going to get my sockeye salmon?
Exactly.
Right there.
2%.
Right there.
The other day during a football game, I see the 1% logo come on, national TV. I go, what the hell? It's avocado mattresses. And they're talking about being a member of 1% for the planet.
I saw those the other day too.
Jackie's going, I'm going to go order an avocado mattress right now. That was really cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, they care more about the planet than these goddamn fishing companies.
That's the thing.
Bizarre or what?
Well, and it's all... I talk to a lot of these fishing companies, and it seems like all we know how to do is grow and grow harder and grow faster and grow more than last year, grow until we grow right over the cliff. And nobody wants to do anything about the resource. And this is about the other thing, the very opposite of dollars, in that really what needs all of the testifiers that can get are healthy rivers. And nobody wants to take on that advocacy role. You talk about advocacy, people run out the back door. Man, they don't want to take a stand because they're afraid somebody's going to, like the petroleum engineers, get a hold of them and say, I can't support you anymore. Well, there's 10 more people that are going to support you for taking that stand.
Yeah.
And our resources need all the testifiers they can get right now to prolong the end of this world. And I'm going to tell you, the fly fishing industry has not jumped on board.
No, I know. I'm pretty disappointed in it. What was the impetus for pushing 1% out the door at Patagonia to become its own nonprofit?
What? I didn't get that.
What caused, why, I guess, is a better reason. Why did 1% leave Patagonia to become its own entity? Was it so it could not be as tightly associated with Patagonia, or?
Yeah, well, we wanted to open it up to other companies and stuff. We couldn't do it within Patagonia. We couldn't accept money from other people and stuff.
Yeah, this was going to be an alliance, a business alliance of like-minded businesses, totally separate from any of our businesses. And I think that was where some confusion lied initially, because a lot of people said, oh, we don't want to associate ourselves with Blue Ribbon Flies or Patagonia. And that was kind of a hurdle we had to get over.
So it was literally it was a junction between Blue Ribbon and Patagonia at the time as it started.
No,
I don't think we anticipated
right.
Not a conscious. No, it was just two friends sitting on the bank of the river, two old guys going, "We got to do something here."
Well, you guys weren't old 20 years ago. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, we were older than dirt. I'm older.
So, okay, well, I think that's, for me, I just wanted to know some of the inside roots of where it went. Craig, you sold me on it when I was sitting out there on the creek in the Madison with you, and I came home and did exactly what I said I would do.
Yes,
I did not realize that there were so few of us that were members. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't want to use Matt Schilling's comment. I don't want to pontificate here, but I want to figure out how to in these remaining years I want to figure out how to move the needle for the right causes in our sport, and those that I feel I can move the needle on, obviously, and that will leave the planet at least as good as it is for me right now for the next generation and the generation after.
Well, I think it's important that we realize really silence, if we don't speak up and say anything, silence is betrayal. We're betraying generations that come after us. We have got to stand up and speak a little bit louder and more frequently to what we're trying to accomplish here.
What's next for Patagonia, Yvon?
well, starting this fun, which we hope to do this year. So that's a big deal. And
can you go? I'm going to separate what we talked about earlier. Can you kind of revisit what you said to this fund that you're starting is going to be? Pretty please.
Well, it's going to be basically a nonprofit organization that takes in money and gives away money. And what I'm hoping is, I have a lot of customers that, believe it or not, they call us and say, look, I want to give you money. I believe in what you're doing, and I want to just give you money. I said, well, wait a minute. We can't just accept money. I mean, we can guide you and tell you where you should give it, but we can't just accept money. And I mean, I think, we've got 2.5 million customers. I think a lot of them trust us and they want to do something, but they don't know exactly what to do. And I think they trust us that we know. We've been giving money away for 40 years, 50 years. And so we're not going to waste it. And it'd be easy for them to just make out one check, and then we decide where it's going to do the most good. And what I'm hoping is I can, get $100 checks from customers, but also millions from some of these rich guys that feel guilty or they want to do something, but they don't really know all the organizations out there that are doing all the good work.
Do you have
that's what's so unique, Dave, about, if you will, a smaller business like yours and like mine was, because we had customers call us up, and Jackie was so awesome at this. We had a couple of guys every year call up at year end and say, I got $500,000 I got to spend right now. And I'd say, tell them to send it to the Craig Matthews Relief Fund. we would make a list because we anticipated these guys calling every year. And we had projects, whether they were with the fisheries program in Yellowstone Park, to 3 Bridge project, to the Olive Ranch easement, right on down the line. And if you are able to tell your customers as a 1% member, hey, 1% of your sale, you won't believe what will happen to your sales. I guarantee you they're going to go through the roof. we're going to take 1% and we're going to put it in the Wild Steelhead Coalition Fund for, dam removal or whatever. Come up with a project. That's what they want, is a project that they can hang their hat on. You can't believe the number of people the enthusiasm that they have. And they will support you. They'll send you checks. Yeah, I love to say we had a couple of people that don't have 10 nickels to rub together. But when we started $3 Bridge Project and we're trying to raise $5 million, I got a school teacher coming in giving me a check for $5,000. He couldn't afford that $5,000, but he said, and he told me, I can't afford this, but you got to take this from me. You get those kind of people, and they are customers of yours forever and ever. The goodwill that's spread because of just some effort on your part to steer that money, that 1% money, where it should go.
That's pretty emotionally charging.
Oh yeah, God, I'd be in tears sometime. I mean, these guys would come in again with the frickin' waders falling off their bodies and want to give you $100. And you'd say, you ought to buy a pair of waders. And they said, I don't care about a pair of waders. I can wade wet. I want this money to go to this project. And they were so proud, and I was so proud of them.
It's just good business. I mean, imagine if you had a gas station, where there's one on each corner, and one of the gas stations gave 1%. And you get a little paper receipt and it says, thank you for your support. And, 17 cents is going to go to creating more national parks or whatever.
Yep.
Which gas station would you go to? Would you go out of your way to do a U-turn turn and go to that gas station? I think 9 out of 10 people would.
You bet.
And yet, there's so little imagination in this world that, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm reminded we had an award presented to us by a group of old guys, rich old guys, and it's still somewhere in Blue Ribbon. I got to retrieve it. The Cash Disposal Store Award. And these guys would come by the shop and they would buy, you can't believe what they buy. They'd come in and they'd buy rods, reels, and waders. And I'd say, you bought a pair of waders yesterday. Yeah, but I might need another pair. Because they wanted to support 1% for the planet. I'll never forget one day, 3 of them came by and they each had hands of money and they threw it in the shop. And they said, we felt guilty walking by without giving you any money. Use that for some conservation. And it was $350 they just threw at us.
That sounds like the same problem I have right now.
People were the most solid, salt of the earth, best customers we ever had.
Yeah. If you were looking for an attorney that's going to charge you $500 an hour, and you're looking in a phone book or whatever for attorneys, and one of them has got the 1% logo, which one would you pick? There's automatic trust right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Dave, remember, you know this. There's 5 or 6 fly shops. I think there's 5 now in West Yellowstone. And we would have people come in who I'd never met before, and they would say, you know what? We've been coming out here for 30 years. We've been shopping at another fly shop, but we found out what 1% for the planet is all about. And we are your customer from here on out. And I told my competitors, I'd call them up and I'd say, hey, I'm taking your goddamn customers right away from you because of 1%. And they never freaking got it. They said, we can't afford it. But yet they'd spend $1,000 to put a wimpy little ad in Fly Fisherman magazine, which did them nothing.
What kind of car did they drive?
56 Buick station wagon.
That completely undermined what I was getting at, Craig. Damn it.
But some of the greatest people in the world, and they're still awesome friends. And they still, at Christmas, they never forget us. We get hams and smoked pheasants from those kind of people who are all a direct result of 1% in the environmental stuff. And that's why I've always been miffed and surprised and disappointed why other businesses can't sign up.
So, Yvon, I know you've given us way more than the 10 minutes that you had promised. And I'm gonna start with saying thank you very much, because you really truly are one of my biggest inspirations for much of what I do business wise, period. I was a different person when I came out the back end of reading Let My People Go Surfing. I immediately pivoted my entire business to try to mimic that model as much as I possibly could. So thank you for that. Thank you for your 10 minutes. Thank you for your 62 years of life, right?
62.
He's 10 years younger than I am.
But I want to let you go, but I'd love to just have you give one final thought of, I'm hoping a lot of people will hear this eventually. How do we get more fly companies and just fishing companies in general in 1%? What's your pitch to them? Other than the threat to come beat them up.
Like Craig said, it's just good business. I mean, if you want to build a trust with your customers, I think that's the best way to do it, probably. If they know that you're really supporting wild rivers and fish and
clean water,
they'll support you, I think.
Yep.
And I mean, people have a choice, and every fly shop looks exactly the same. They've all got the same rods and reels and lines and same flies. They're all the same. So there has to be another reason why they would want to come into your shop.
It's funny. I don't see the people advertising that 1% like you probably did back in the day, Craig. They may be members, but it's a little bit like other companies. They do it, but they're afraid to go against the grain and wear it on their shirt sleeve. And it just doesn't make sense to me.
Whenever I did it, well, in the shop, when you walk in, there was always 1% for the Planet banner. And initially, 50% of the people go, what the hell's that? And I would spend 10 minutes explaining it. When I did presentations around the country, I carried a big 1% banner. I opened it up, and before I started my presentation, I said, how many of you know what this stands for? The first time, one person. By the 300th time, almost everybody in that audience understood 1%. But I think all of us in the fly fishing business got to get our asses off the frickin' couch and exert the power that we have as businesses and individuals to basically talk about climate change and to support organizations, grassroots activist organizations that do the dirty work, that work their asses off, that stand up in face of all the political bullshit because politicians aren't going to do it. And like Yvon said, religious leaders aren't going to do it. Because if we don't, we might as well fold up our tent and be all done with this thing. Because it's coming at us like a goddamn freight train. And I'm the eternal optimist. I think we got a few more years left before the whole empire comes crashing down. But it's up to us. If we let this thing go, and if we don't speak up, and if we don't get more involved in terms of advocacy and activism and grassroots programs, then we're all done. Particularly as fly fishing businesses, because it's going to hit us first. And I no longer have a ball in the game, although I've started the not-for-profit fly shop. I'll tell you about that sometime.
Well, I'm keeping you around after Yvon clocks out, so I might hear about you from that here shortly.
But I really think, we just have to work harder, and we got to speak up for what's right. And we can't sit back and coast anymore and drive our big pickup trucks around with 38 nuclear warhead things that hold rods on top of it and act like a big shot. Anybody with a cowboy hat and cooler can be a guide or an outfitter nowadays. But those are the kind of people that should preach to their goddamn customers when they have them in a boat all day or on the river all day, talking about the projects that need attention. And climate change, of course, is at the forefront.
That's as grassroots as it gets right there, 2 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for that rant, but
No, that's totally fine. Yvon, you want to follow up with your own rant, or you good?
Don't be afraid of promoting 1%. Don't be afraid of saying the things that you're doing with it, because what it does, it encourages other people to do it. I don't look at it as marketing your product. I look at it as encouraging other people, other companies to come along.
It is infectious.
You said it earlier, Yvon. It's just a way of doing business.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Well, again, Yvon, much appreciate all of your time and everything that you do. Take this as you will, but I love you. And I don't know the next time I'll see you face to face to be able to tell you that. So I'm going to take the opportunity now.
Well, we got to go fishing sometime.
I know. I keep bugging Dylan to arrange you to come up here and fish for all of these magnificent wild steelhead that remain in Washington, all 7 of them.
They're extinct.
I'm being Craig here and saying 7 in an optimistic manner. So, I'd keep bothering Dylan to try to create a space for me to join you somewhere, fishing somewhere.
The best place is to come here, because we're both here most of the summer.
I just tried to drive out there, Craig.
Yeah, but I think we did the right thing.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
The right thing.
Anyway, Yvon, give my best to Melinda too, and thank you, and we'll see you soon, I hope.
Yeah, good luck to you guys.
All right.
See you next Monday, Yvon.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night, you two.
Yeah.
So, Craig, I have a whole other line of questions for you, buddy. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Actually, I thought that...
Remember, I used to be the questioner with my rubber hose when I was a cop.
Yeah, I know. How do you like the tables turning on you? God, I feel... Actually, to be totally honest with you, I would rather probably just cut it, and I want to come out and do what we planned, and you're a whole separate personality I want to spend the time with. I don't want to piggyback Yvon. Yvon gave us plenty of time to put something out there, and
God, he hung in there for an hour at least.
I know. I knew he was going to do that as soon as he was in there. So
I was surprised John Meyer's questions. That threw a curve at me. But anyway.
Yeah, I kind of was like, oh shit, he's taking the wind out of my sails here. I don't get to build up to something like that. So
that's why we had to cut him off and send him home.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for being the one to do that. I was on my way towards it, but
Yvon loves what he's doing, and Yvon's, we're supporting him as best we can.
Yeah, he just looked tired tonight. So
he has got so many things going on. He's got twin boys, 2 years old, that I was hiring his wife. His wife is a writer for Montana's Free Press, and I was hiring her to ghostwrite my book that I'm writing now on my own. But anyway, I saw those little kids crawl all over him. No, Yvon and Tom McGuane and those guys said, you can't have a ghostwriter. You got to write this yourself. You've written a lot of fly fishing books.
You're a good writer, Craig. You should write that yourself. Besides,
I'm up to 30,000 words, but I got a ways to go.
I just can't see your enthusiasm being mirrored through a ghostwriter. That's something that I wouldn't say to a lot of people, but with you, I feel like that's a true statement.
I've never written about prostitutes and bikers and gambling violations and the Bonanno family.
Hunter Thompson? but again, your enthusiasm in recalling all those events through the years is just, it's childlike, and it's got to come from your hand, I swear.
But Jackie still calls me a childlike old man, so.
Yeah. Well, that's why you look like you're about a year older than me. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. I think I'm 73.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I hope I make it there. Be totally honest with you. Yeah, I hope so. Greg, I really can't thank you enough for setting that up.
I'm glad it worked out. And again, if you decide to head this way this summer, Yvon is here quite a bit. He's got his own, him and Melinda have their own room here where I was going to put you guys.
Oh, good. Don't tell him that.
Oh, yeah, he knows. Anyway,
That's okay.
they spend a fair amount of time with us, and it'd be kind of fun you could do a little filming at that session too, because we have more goddamn fun fishing together.
I wonder, has Dylan told you when he's going to come out this summer yet?
He wasn't able to reserve a room or a cabin at the West Fork where he always stays. So I don't think he's going to come this year.
What?
Yeah, it's hard to find anywhere to stay here.
I'm going to talk with him in the next day or two, and maybe he and Skyla and Weston and myself and my wife and daughter can find a VRBO to collectively rent. And
I'll bet you can find a VRBO. Yeah. There's a couple of them here.
Right.
Yeah, Jackie keeps an eye on them, and she says, do it quick.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to Dylan this week, and maybe we can line up a thing where all of us are out there at the same time that Yvon is, and we could have just this big.
Well, we have a couple of VRBOs right here on Sun West that rent out, and they're nice places, and God, they can house a bunch of folks.
Huh, okay. Well, I'll talk to Dylan and ask him if that's something he's interested in, because
sure.
I'm trying to figure out how to spend more time with that turd ball as well. And, we live 11 miles from each other by way the crow flies, and I see him once a year. So no kidding. Yeah. It takes a heavy lift to get the two of us together with everything he's doing and everything I'm doing. It's just a disaster.
Yeah.
So,
I saw his post today. He's a busy guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about the book, his book launch. I think, what we're working on and what the timing of his book and the direction I'm trying to take my business, I think this is going to be really well timed. And I don't suppose there's any way you can be out here we could get you out here for that.
Probably not.
Okay, fair enough. I understand.
I'm Mr. Homebody. To get me to go to Patagonia, Yvon really had to twist my leg, believe it or not. I've had a hard time traveling here the last couple of years just because all that's going on. We didn't go to Arizona. Normally we're in Arizona right now.
Yeah, well.
Chasing quail on the desert with our dogs, but we're not going anywhere this winter, except I'm going to go to Patagonia.
All right.
And she's going to go to either Africa or whale watching or something.
Yeah, cool. Both sound fantastic.
Yeah, but you'll be out here.
Yeah, we'll make it. I'll talk to Andrew. I'd actually like to just do the original idea podcast with you. I'd like to snowshoe, fish, shoot it all,
Sure.
Have it photographed, record it outside, and do a little more authentic. This was a bit of a departure for what we want to do for our podcast, but I know it's the only way to get Yvon involved. So let me talk to Andrew and see what March and April look like for him, and see if we can coincide a few days with you out there to come do that.
Sounds good.
That sound all right? I can wrangle you into a little bit more of your time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
As long as it isn't turkey season.
Okay, well.
Or bird season.
Or bird season.
Come in the fall.
What about fishing season?
We got basically the best times are May, June, July, August, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I go take my bird dogs and away we go.
Yeah, I want to do winter fishing. I want to throw 22s on fiberglass rods.
Well, I'll tell you, February is a very good month to do that. Jackie and I looked. Today we didn't see it because the wind was so strong, but the previous 2 days we went to one of my favorite runs right on the highway down here and saw a couple of fish rise. So they're ready to rise to midges.
Sweet.
We just need, if it's dead calm, you'll never believe the number of fish that'll be rising here to midges, but the damn wind just sucks.
Yeah, it blows those guys away a little bit.
Yeah, but we can always find a place that's calm.
Okay.
February or March is a really good time to be here for midges.
Awesome. Again, Craig, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm glad it all worked out. I was panicked when I didn't see little Melinda's name come up. I'm going, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because always first one on the call. They're always there,
Yeah.
on time.
That's all right.
Anyway, it all worked out.
That's
She
right.
showed up. He showed up. So
Yeah, and just know that my thank you is beyond just for this. It's just a very broad brush thank you for everything.
Needless to say, you don't have to say that.
Yeah, I do. I want you to know how grateful I am. So
Thank you.
And I love that I get to just call you and message you and like, and you'll laugh at this. And if Jackie's listening, she'll probably really laugh at it, but I literally have to pinch myself occasionally and be like,
Oh God!
I just got a private message from a DM from.
Yeah, she says, "Oh God, don't give him a big head."
Well, I figure if I pay it forward now, if I'm lucky and I play my cards right, maybe someone will do that to me in another 20 years. So I'm just kind of hoping to create repetition in that.
Yep, it's coming in those 20 years will scare you how quick they'll go.
I know.
I can't believe it where they went. We were in business for 43 years and
43 at Blue Ribbon. Are you serious?
I can't believe where that went. Just gone.
Holy shit. That's wow. That's amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Well,
Jackie said, I got to shut up.
Yeah, you and I are talkers. It's bad putting us together.
That's great. Hey, we had Yvon going.
I know. I love watching him laugh.
He was kind of real dour and kind of laid back, but boy, we had him going. That's why I kept trying to.
Thank you for that too. Yeah, that was awesome. Well, you and Jackie have a great night, and I'll be in touch here soon. Thank you again.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care, Craig. Bye, Jackie.
Take care.
All right.
He's yelling, bye-bye.
Bye. All right.
I can't get her to say to come up in person.
That's right. Save it for in person. Then we can.
There you go.
It'll happen that way.
Take care, guys.
All right. Have a good one, Craig.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.